Gentlemen, this is Miss Humbert here. Today we're going to be doing your Unit 1 Quiz 2 review. So we're going to be talking this over so you make sure that you're ready for your second quiz of the class. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. So taking a look at number 1, you want to graph the following inequalities. Well, the first thing we need to do is make a couple decisions. So I do that by taking a look at the inequality symbol. So first that I see there's a solid line underneath. So that means that my line is going to be solid. Secondly, I notice that the alligator is facing away from the Y, so that means from there I'm going to shade down. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 1. We're crossing the y-axis at a -2. My slope is 3, which is the same as 3 over 1. So from the point -2, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, and I'm plotting that point. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the 2 points together. Now I need to shade down from the line. So I pick a spot on the line and I go down. And I land in this area underneath the line. So I'm going to shade in that region right there. And that's your final answer for number 1. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 2. So for number 2, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some distributing. So I have y minus 2 is equal to 1/3 x plus 1/3 times 9. When you take 1/3 times 9, that's really the same as 9 divided by 3. So that's going to be 3. So why am I doing all of this solving? Well, in order for something to be graphed, it has to be solved for y. Now this is given to us in point slope form. So I'm graphing it to solve for y. So the next thing I'm going to do is add 2 to both sides. So I get y is equal to 1/3 x, and then 3 plus 2 is going to give me 5. So I have y is equal to 1/3 x plus 5. So let's go ahead and let's graph it. So we're crossing the y-axis at 5. So I'm going to go ahead and plot 5 on the y-axis. And then my slope is 1/3. Well, 1/3 is the same as up 1 and over 3. So that's what I'm going to do. From my y-intercept, I'm going to go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go ahead and plot that point. So now I'm going to, whoops, I missed it. I'm going to go ahead and connect those 2 points right there. Hopefully you're a lot better at drawing straight lines than I am. And for number 2, I actually don't have to do any shading because you'll notice that it's an equal sign, not an inequality symbol. So there's no shading that I have to worry about. So let's take a look at number 3. So we have 2x plus 4y is equal to 12. Again, for us to graph that, we have to solve it for y. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring that 2x over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I get 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 12. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So when I do that, 4 divided by 4 cancels out, and I have y. Then negative 2 divided by 4. I can actually reduce that fraction. So think of negative 2 over 4 as a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself, what divides 2 and what divides 4? Well, they both can be divided by 2. So when I divide both by 2, I get negative 1 on top. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I get a negative 1/2 for the slope, and then I'm going to put x. Next, I have 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So now I'm ready to go ahead and graph this. So I'm crossing the y-axis at 3, which is going to be right there. Then from there, my slope is negative 1/2, which means I'm going down 1 and right 2. So I'm going from this point down 1 and right 2. And I'm going to go ahead and graph that point. And now I'm going to connect those dots. Again, it's an equal sign, so I don't have to worry about any shading for this problem. Taking a look at number 4, I have 3y is greater than negative 9x minus 12. Before I can make any decisions about the inequality, I need to solve for y. So since that 3 is being multiplied by the y, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 3. So then I end up getting that y is greater than negative 3x minus 4. So now I can make some decisions about the inequality. I notice that the mouth is opening towards the y, so I know I'm going to be shading up. There's no solid line underneath the inequality, which means that my line is going to be dotted. So I'm crossing the y-axis at negative 4. So my slope is -3, which is really the same as -3/1. Well, if I go down 3 here, I run out of graphing room. So what I'm going to do is instead of a -3/1, I'm going to do a +3 and a -1. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 1. So that's a trick you can use if you run out of space, because notice that it's still slanting downward. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those dots. So now I made a mistake, right? Because it's supposed to be dashed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase parts of it, and voila, I have a dashed line. Okay, and then I need to shade up above that line, which is in this region right here. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 5. Sean and his friends rented a hot air balloon for 3 hours and paid a total of $55. The rate was $8 per hour plus the daily fee. So what is the daily fee? Okay, so that's what we're going to ask ourselves. What is the daily fee? So let's go ahead and let's take a look. So we paid $55 total dollars. Okay, and then when we started, we had to pay an X daily rate. We don't know what that daily rate was, okay? We were out there for 3 hours and we paid $8 per hour. So because we were out there for 3 hours, I'm multiplying that by the hourly rate, which is $8 per hour. So now I need to solve this for X to figure out what the daily rate is going to be. So I have 24 plus X is equal to 55. So now to solve this for X, since that's a positive 24, I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. So 55 minus 24 is going to give you $31. So the daily rate is $31. Remember, if at any point you're getting confused, come talk to me because this will be on your quiz. Okay? So let's take a look at number 6. So saltwater taffy costs $1.50 per pound, and M&Ms cost $3 per pound at the candy store. With that to spend, what are the different amounts of the two candies that you can buy? So what we're going to do is we're going to write an inequality. You do not have to solve it. So I'm going to let X represent the toffee, and I'm going to let Y represent the M&Ms. Okay, so for every X saltwater taffy you buy, it's going to cost you $1.50. For every Y pound of M&M, it's going to cost you $3. Now remember that you have $17 to spend. So we could spend exactly $17, but we can't spend more than $17. We could spend less than $17 though. So what we're going to do is put the less than symbol in there. So then I get 150x plus 3y is less than or equal to 17. And that's all you have to do for that expression. Let's take a look at number 7. It says that Coach Picard wants to take his team out for pizza and pop. Each large pizza costs $12.50, so I'm going to let X represent pizza. And each pitcher of pop costs $2.50. So I'm going to let Y represent pop. He doesn't want to spend more than $25. So here's my $25. So whatever I spend, I'm going to write an equation for right here. And whatever I spend needs to be less than $25. So for every X pizza that I buy, it's going to be $12.50. For every Y pop that I buy, it's going to be $2.50. Now we need to graph this. So in order to graph it, I'm going to have to solve for y. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract $12.50 from both sides. So then I end up getting $2.50y is less than or equal to, oops, this should have an x with it, negative $12.50x plus 25. So now, in order for us to solve for the y, notice that the 250 is being multiplied by the y. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 250. So then I end up getting that y is less than or equal to negative 1250 divided by 250 is going to give me negative 5x. 25 divided by 250 is going to give us 10. So this is the equation that we are going to graph. So I know I'm going to have a solid line and I'm going to be shading down. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. We're crossing the y-axis at 10, which is here. And then our slope is negative 5, which is the same as negative 5 over 1. So on the y-axis, to go down 5, notice I go all the way down to here. That represents 5. And then also to go over 1, I need to go all the way over here and plot that point. And then I can connect that with a solid line. Now remember that the alligator was facing away from the Y, so I need to go ahead and shade down. So I'm going to shade in that corner over there. So then let's take a look at number 8. So for number 8, we're going to go ahead and solve this equation. That's all we're going to do. So to start, I am going to distribute in the 2. So I get 2x minus 2 times 5, which is 10, is equal to 12. So then I'm going to go ahead and add 10 to both sides, and I get that 2x is equal to 12 times 10, which is 22. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get that x is equal to 11. So that's your final answer for number 8. Taking a look at number 9, I want to get my x's on the same side. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3x from both sides. So then that's going to cancel this out. Now what I chose to do was to get the smaller amount of x's over to the side with the larger amount of x's. You could do it the other way and still get the same answer. So I have 5, and then 4x minus 3x is x, and then minus 7. Now remember that x is the same as 1x. So now what I need to do to solve for x is add 7 to both sides. So I get x, and then 5 plus 7 is going to be 12. So I get that x is less than 12, and that's your final answer for number 9. Taking a look at number 10, we want to write each of the equations in slope-intercept form. So here we're given a point and a slope. Whenever you're given a point and your slope, immediately you should think of to use point-slope form, like so. So here I'm going to put in the slope. Then opposite of the x-coordinate is going to be negative 8. Opposite of the y-coordinate is going to be minus 1. So there's point-slope form. So now to get it into slope-intercept form, I'm going to have to solve for y. So I'm going to take the 1/4 and distribute it in. So I have y minus 1. 1/4 times x is going to be 1/4 x. And then when I do 1/4 times a negative 8, that's really the same as negative 8 divided by 4. And negative 8 divided by 4 is a negative 2. Last but not least, to solve for y, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Y is equal to 1/4 x, and then negative 2 plus 1 is going to give me a negative 1. So that's my final answer for number 10. Next, taking a look at number 11, what we need to do is we need to first calculate out the slope. Now remember that the formula for the slope is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So let's go ahead and let's calculate that out. So y2 is 15 minus y1, which is 3, over x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is 2. 15 minus 3 is 12, 6 minus 2 is 4, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3. So now that I've calculated out the slope, I'm ready to put it into point-slope form. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my puzzle. So I put my slope here, which is 3. Now remember, you can pick either point. It doesn't matter. Pick whatever point works for you. I'm going to use the first one. So the opposite of my x-coordinate is going to be minus 2, since my x-coordinate is 2. Opposite of my y-coordinate is negative 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So I have y minus 3 is equal to 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6. So now I'm going to go ahead and add 3 to both sides, and I get y is equal to 3x, and then negative 6 plus 3 is going to give me negative 3. So that's your final answer, and once you feel good about the quiz review, you can come show it to me and give it to me, and I will give you the quiz. Thanks for listening.